Banter.
Banter.
Banter, banter, banter.
Banter. Banter. Banter. Banter. Banter. Banter?
Banter.
Banter. Banter. Banter. Banter. Banter. Banter. Banter. Banter.
Banter. Banter, banter.
Banter. Banter.
Banter.
Banter. Banter.
What is going on, everybody? I'm Tom.
And I'm Pat.
We're best friends, and you're listening to the Reminiscent Podcast. That was surprisingly hard to not say.
It really was.
I slipped up and said, yeah, banter. Oh, boy.
Yes, same. Oh, boy.
Hopefully it was worth it.
Yes, it was. We're getting silly because we've been living in the Hoobaverse all day. And I think this might just be a weird one from start to finish, Tom. I think that's really the energy we're trying to open the show with. How are you? How's your butt?
I'm good, man. I really love doing the out of genre episodes. Like before we rebranded at episode 100, we did an NSYNC music video. We did Hanson, and weirdly
Jonas
enough,
Brothers, debatably pop punk, depending on the Twitter follower you ask.
Dude, yeah, Year 3000. That might be one of my favorite, like top 10 episodes we ever recorded, and Mbop actually.
That was a fun one.
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's like stress-free or really what it is, but I enjoy just doing stuff for the sake of wanting to do. I mean, we do that every week, but yeah, it's nice.
It's interesting. We're a 2000s pod at heart. Hoobastank deserves some mention, even if like this is an I Love the 2000s MTV thing and they bring us on and only use like 2 seconds of our clip, and it's just us saying, I mean, Hoobastank, and then we aren't really in the show for anything else. Right. I'd be okay with that. But sure. So here's the context. If you're just joining the show, welcome. We normally talk about Paramore, Fall Out Boy, My Chemical Romance. You know the bands. One time, we saw the greatest music video we've ever seen. It's a heist-based music video by the band Hoobastank. You may have heard of them. If not, they're platinum-selling artists. This album, The Reason, was multi-platinum, just insanely large. There's a great chance if you're hearing this, you know exactly who the Hoobastank is. But it was the greatest heist movie we had ever seen, and it was a very fun episode to do because you set the aim away message to the chorus of those lyrics to The Reason. You lived it. You've been there. And then little did we know at the time, I guess we would have been a little young, 13, I guess. I think it was 03, 04-ish that this record came out.
Yeah.
To have seen this video and been like fully aware of like embracing like the Hooba experience, I guess, the greater Hooba experience. Anyway, later in life, we're like, oh wow, this music video fucking rules. Fast forward several months, maybe like a full year, and Devin and our friends at the Friendly Competition podcast started chatting with us on Twitter. They're like, yeah, I thought you guys, I'm pretty sure you guys don't, but I guess I would have assumed you knew that they made a sequel to this music video. And we were like, wait, what? So, they didn't spoil the surprise or anything, but we watched it and we're going to cover it. And I think if you listen to some of the January episodes, some of the New Year's stuff, I think this is a year for, just having fun with the show, seeing where it goes. Obviously, feedback at _reminiscentfm on Twitter is welcome always. But I think for a couple weeks, we're going to just have a little fun and not be too 2000s emo-y, because I think next week we're going to follow up this Hoobastank music video sequel Hoobaverse dive with a Michelle Branch episode. But I think it's fair to say that the Michelle Branch episode that we've been joking about on Twitter for like, honestly, 2 months at this point. Congrats to her. And she and her baby daughter, I guess, apparently.
Yeah.
We've been blowing up her Twitter feed, or at least some of the listeners have absolutely just been blowing up that feed, but she's been a little preoccupied with all of that. Anyway, so a couple fun episodes.
If you had to guess the episode number that was The Reason, what would you guess? Because you said it's been maybe a couple months.
No. A full calendar year, I think, potentially.
Okay,
well,
we did it.
I'll just guess. It doesn't matter.
Sure.
I said both. I always cover myself by saying a ton of things all the time. So, sorry. 131.
Ooh, close. It was 138. But Pat, that was September of 2019. That was the before times.
Wow, the before times. Okay.
It's been a while.
Yes. Just to get back into the Hooba mindset, you always reference him spouting the band name in the movie Hot Rod.
Oh, yeah.
I think after he's drowning. I forget what scene it is, but...
it's after he jumps all the buses and eats shit. He's like, Hoobastank!
Yes, yeah. I remember a high school basketball player that I was friends with, but I was in junior high or even younger at the time. And I remember reading one of his away messages, and it was the lyrics to A Reason. And I remember at the time he must have just broken up with his girlfriend or something. And I remember thinking like, my man, I wonder what it's like to be so old and mature where I would so publicly pine about, love gone wrong or something. Like, to me, I was just like, man, I wonder what it's like to be an adult and post sad lyrics to sad songs on your AIM and just do adult stuff, basically. It seems so wild to me. Meanwhile, this kid's like 15 and like probably didn't even drive yet. But me just being a child, listening to the Hoob. But
oh my God.
Anyway, somebody mentioned on Twitter, I think it was the Friendly Competition podcast guys, they were saying, you think, we joke on the show like All American Rejects, biggest band we probably talk about that doesn't get enough credit on our show. Though, look at the cameos in this music video. And if you think All American Rejects was big, like, I think, with the Hot Rod stuff, there's been an attempt to Nickelback them a little bit through the years maybe, but can we talk a little bit about Hoobastank just kind of being on top of the world for a minute in like 03-ish?
Well, dude, they were on top of the world in my mind. I know I already burned the anecdotes on the Reason episode thinking we would never come back to Hoobastank, which, by the way, the people on Twitter mentioned that I mentioned there was a sequel to the music video. I don't remember that at all. I had never seen this video. I don't know how I got that intel, but I don't know. I thought we'd never come back to it, but...
We got a tip from sources. Sources say that Hoobastank did indeed have a second video off of the album The Reason.
But no, dude, I loved Hoobastank, but I only knew the song The Reason. And again, already told the story, but every time that there was a DJ change at Star 104, which is our local top 40 station, I would call and request The Reason by Hoobastank. And I remember just like harassing the shit out of Karen Black, calling in different voices over and over and over, asking for The Reason by Hoobastank.
I think somehow Out of Control made it onto one of the like junior high summer workout lifting playlists, and all of us were like lifting very incorrectly, just being very in with like a lot of puberty happening in that room, just
7
people
pound
sweating,
weights.
sweating it out to Out of Control. I know, right? Exactly. I just being young enough for our backs to be like, this is weird, but I guess I'll bounce back. We're young enough to figure this out. Anyway. So it's one of those albums where you just kind of know it, you just kind of do. And this is a song I was less familiar with, though, but it is technically one of the singles. Do you want to run through the fast facts and just kind of get into the meat of the show, or?
Yeah,
sure. So Hoobastank, let's just catch everybody back up. American rock band formed in '94. Wow.
Oh my God.
Agora Hills, California. The Reason is the band's sophomore album. We recently did a sophomore album draft. Hoobastank's a little out of the genre. We're having some fun, but like...
That could have been an honorable mention. Come on.
Yeah, hey, there you go. Just a giant sophomore effort, released December 03 by Island Records. The band's last album to feature bassist Markku Lapalainen. I did not pronounce his last name correctly, I'm pretty certain, prior to his departure in 05. Despite receiving mixed reviews by critics, how? The Reason peaked at number 3 on the U.S. Billboard 200 and was eventually certified. I wanted to breeze by that, but after mixed reviews, it just skipped along up to number 3. Like talk about the height of, I guess this wouldn't have been butt rock. It would have been, well, you tell me, not quite nu metal, but yes, nu metal.
It's kind of in this vague.
Chester's in the video. I know I'm kind of jumping ahead, but like, there's things to discuss genre wise here.
It's kind of in between like nu metal, butt rock, and a little bit of emo. I don't know. Yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, I guess we're not like big genre folks on the show anyway. So whatever it was hot. capital H, capital O, capital T. It's not a thing people say. Okay. Anyways, the reason. Certified double platinum. We're talking about platinum records, okay?
Yeah.
Platinum records only. 4 singles
Bangers
released. Bangers only. Yeah, people keep tweeting at us like rules for the show that they're like, no hipsters, bangers only. I'm like, when have we said these things? When? Out of Control, as I mentioned, the title track, The Reason, of course, which we've covered on this program. Same Direction, which is the song we're talking about today, and Disappear. Yes, Same Direction, released as a single a couple months after The Reason, which checks out because it was the sequel in the music video timeline as we enter the cinematic Hoobaverse. It reached number 20 in its own right on the Billboard Hot Mainstream Rock Tracks chart. Tom hates when I read this many fast facts, but I think they're relevant. And number 14 on the Hot Modern Rock Tracks chart. My favorite line, let's play a quick game called My Favorite Line from the Wikipedia page. The music video, quote, is a prequel and a sequel, end quote.
Love it. That Shyamalan twist.
Everybody buckle up. Yes.
Oh,
thoughts, notes, feelings, desires, hopes, dreams.
Yeah, man, I did a little bit more digging on the video because when I searched in YouTube, Hoobastank, Same Direction, I found a whole other version of the music video. There's 2.
How does this keep happening to you?
I don't know, dude.
What search engine are you using?
YouTube. But dude, it's even weirder. Okay, so I found this on MTV.com, written by Jennifer Vineyard in 2004.
Wait, you eventually found the one, like, we're working off the same doc, right?
Yes.
Okay. I guess we've been kind of busy at work this week. I'm like, wait, I hope we're not going to just find out 40 minutes later that we've been talking about 2 different pieces of... Okay, never mind. I cut you off.
That'll be amazing. It would be like your early idea of, what was it, doing a Simple Plan episode, but talking about Good Charlotte the whole time instead or something?
Something stupid. But it would be cool if there was 2 versions where like the cop was a different character in the band or from the first event. You know what I mean? Like it would be interesting if they made 2 different, like, anyway.
Oh, like a pick your own adventure and choose your own adventure.
Yeah.
That would be fun. All right, so MTV.com in 2004, written by Jennifer Vineyard. I'm just going to straight up read the last 2 paragraphs.
Yep. ...
It may even lead to the next video if the band decides to continue the storyline as hinted in the clip's treatment. So they hinted at a part 3. To this day, I have not seen a part 3, but I still think there's unanswered questions thinking about the girl and the guy on the motorcycle from the first video. What happened to the girl? Anyways.
Yeah.
Says, then again, maybe not. It could all end up differently if Hoobastank choose to use a second video that's being shot for Same Direction. Get this, conceived by a fan who wrote it as part of a MasterCard contest.
Amazing. Like the credit card?
Yes, MasterCard wrote a contest for fans to write the music video for Same Direction.
Wow.
And that is what the other music video is. And honestly, Pat, it's so good and so insane. I would actually want to do the song again next week. Just keep the hype train rolling on Hoobastank because it's nuts, dude. It's nuts.
What a pre-2008 thing to have happen. Just people joyously combining their MTV musical fandom with financial institutions, gleefully writing in fan theories.
It's crazy.
Wow. I think by the time we did a King for the Day episode and the tide had turned significantly on the 1%. That's a stretch a little bit, but yeah, sure, mid-2000s, a MasterCard contest to write the plot of a Hoobastank music video. I love doing this show so much sometimes it almost hurts. God, that's amazing. Okay, so that's a good nugget. Good find. Let's do a little bit of recap on the first music video before we dive in. It's a heist. We joke about it on Twitter a lot if you follow us. Basically, the band, it opens up on Doug Robb, singing at a girl on the ground. You're like, okay, I know the lyrics, I know the reason, what the hell's going on. You find out that it's a very elaborate heist of not a bank, but a secondhand store. And there's this vault in the back with this rare stone. And they, the crash at the beginning, the girl who's on the ground's in on it. They're all part of this crew that gets away with stealing this jewel. We open up in this video with what? What are we working with? It's a sequel, but it's a prequel. Minds are exploding, even trying to understand it just from the jump. Thoughts as you hit play. What's going on here? Honestly, legit excitement. Because I had seen what everyone was talking about on Twitter. I'm like, what an insane star-studded cast, first of all, which we'll get to. Also, I do just love, like, if somebody should make this into a feature length, I'd watch it with the band member, like with the same people. I'd watch it. I think it's heist videos. I know there was a whole Rick and Morty episode about, like, it's predictable. I was like, I don't give a I would watch this movie yearly for the rest of my life on cable with commercials without even thinking of grabbing the remote. It's just so, like, easy to consume delight for me. Like, I'm very into this. There's a part in the middle of the video that there's, like, chase scenes where, like, the car's going and they beat somebody around a turn and they find an alley to hide in and the person chasing them flies the right by the alley. I'm like, hell yeah, inject that into my bloodstream immediately. You guys are just pulling this off. You son of a bitch. I'm in. Good stuff. Anyway, so when I hit play, I'm very excited. I want to know what's happening in the Hoobaverse. I'll be honest, and not very genuinely.
www.change.org/into the Hoobaverse. Let's get a petition for the full-length movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right. So, in the first video, there are some performance shots. And actually, before we even get into it,
I know, like, we're flying by that, but I know you're going to do it, and I know I'm going to sign it.
So, okay. I want to give some context that the reason was my favorite song by Hoobastank, but I had never heard a second song by Hoobastank.
Wow.
So, like, my entire idea of them was kind of this, like, soft
even
kind of
Crawling in the Dark,
thing.
I find that incredibly hard to believe.
I mean, it's possible I heard it on the radio, but I didn't know who it was,
Yeah. Okay.
So Hoobastank for me is the reason. And when I hear, like, the opening riff of this song, it's like, oh, this is like a different band. And with that in mind, going back to watch the Reason music video, one of the guitarists has a dual rectifier, which is like a really heavy amplifier in terms of, like, tone. I don't know, maybe that should have let me know sooner that.
Yeah, did you kind of wonder about that, but just let it go by when you first saw it?
No, it didn't even occur to me, but, like, this song fucking goes, man. Like, this riff could have easily made our riff draft.
Yeah, that's interesting you say that. I guess if you're just joining the show this week, Tom is like a podcast producer extraordinaire / audio engineer in his spare time. I would say you're a gearhead. Like, you look at, like, sales and things like that. What's that one company you always keep an eye out for? I think you bought me a mic from the Stillwater Steamwater. What's it called?
Oh, Sweetwater?
Sweetwater. I didn't get it 3 times.
All the good stuff's on Vintage King, though.
Oh, for sure. Anyway, so it's interesting to me that you just, sometimes you'll say something, I'll be like, wow, Tom views the world in a way that is so incredibly unlike the way I do. Anyway, that's interesting. You're like, that's a funny cab for a soft pop, Michelle Branch cousin 2000s radio band. Like,
right. But anyway, I should have informed something. I just didn't catch it at the time. But yeah, so the reason ends with the guys kind of got away. Again, the girl mysteriously disappeared. I still think there's enough room for a third part to this, a part 3. But they're in kind of this warehouse and they're looking at the ruby and everything is red. And you kind of hear sirens in the distance. And then the music video for Same Direction starts immediately on the next frame of that shot, with them realizing that they're coming for them and that, like, they're in the building.
Yeah, we'll touch on more specifics, but we open up essentially with, the shots of the band fleeing police because of the heist, things like that. There's shots with everyone arrested, except for, the singer Doug Robb and guitarist Dan Estrin. And it's kind of setting up this situation where, I guess, I don't know if I caught it the first time. I had to actually read the Wikipedia page. I know I poked fun at it, but I didn't really understand the prequel part after the first watching, because I was just kind of like marveling at the one Madden brother just doing what he does in this video. And we should just say it. Kanye West is in this music video. One of the Madden brothers from Good Charlotte is in this music video. Chester from Linkin Park.
Bennington.
Yes.
Oh.
And they all, it's hard to tell if all three of them were given any instruction at all to, so let's phrase it like this. The reason it's a prequel and a sequel is the band has lead singer tryouts, and those three artists attend the tryouts to try to be the lead singer of Hoobastank. Doug Robb eventually goes, and you're led to believe, right, that this is how he meets them and how he gets in on their like life of rock and roll and crime, sex, drugs, rock and roll, et al. Any thoughts on the cameo? Should we just address that first? I guess now would be the time.
I am so curious about how those three people were chosen. I mean, they all are probably some of the biggest vocalists in 2004, right?
I mean,
is that it?
I mean, what's interesting to me was how they were all like 2000s caricatures of what I envisioned them to be at that point in time. Like
right.
The flat brim hat for the Madden brother. Yeah. Kanye is definitely pre-Yeezus, pre-Dark Twisted Fantasy probably, right? Like just wearing a polo. Like I think there's videos of young him showing up to open mics with a backpack on in Chicago. Like I don't know if he's ever been like humble per se, but it's definitely younger him. Like he is just kind of there, getting some exposure or whatever. Chester, what makes me ask you if you think they got any direction at all is because the Madden brother and Kanye are kind of just like singing along, doing a music video thing without much. But Chester at one point is like yelling at the band. Obviously, they have to show us that those three didn't get the job and Doug Robb would eventually get the job in the story of the video. Chester kind of is the only one that plays it up, I felt, where he's just like, seems to be like a very dickish lead singer that a band wouldn't get along with, but I don't think that's his like persona. I was interested to hear your thoughts on why you think he played it up a little bit, because I don't think that's his MO necessarily. He was just having fun with it maybe.
Right. I've never been like too into who the people in the bands are, so I don't know if Chester had, I don't know, this perception of being an asshole. I don't think so. At least I've never heard that. But what's interesting is, Chester was just yelling at the drummer, and the drummer's like rolling his eyes. Joel was just kind of being a weirdo, like playing with his hat the whole time.
Yeah, what's funny is they don't show him sing a note. He just is a Madden, and he is in the video, but I don't think like
no, he didn't. Kanye is the only person who sang a single line in this video.
Yeah,
and he was just like being a goofball. Like I don't understand why he didn't make the band.
Yes, yeah. Honestly, he seemed like if we're just let's play this quick game. Who would you have made your lead singer out of those four tryouts? Because Kanye seemed very pleasant.
Yeah, he just had a big smile on his face. He was singing the words in time.
Charismatic young kid.
Yeah.
Sure. Chester, maybe didn't rub the bandmates the wrong way. Madden seemed to be a little too into his like potential solo career after the band had a few hits.
If I had to pick an actual lead singer, obviously Chester. He's one of the most iconic singers of all time. But his character in this was a total dickhead.
Also, while we're just getting weird in this very specific portion of this Hoobastank music video, I don't think we're too removed from or too far from what would eventually be the Jay-Z Linkin Park stuff. So outside of the video, like a Kanye Hoobastank collab, honestly, we look at what's interesting. I was listening through to Chuck Klosterman. He was on the Bill Simmons pod talking about his book. He's coming out with a book called The 90s, and he was very into getting the point across that he tried to tell the story of the 90s through essays as it was, not through nostalgia, not through his own experiences. Some of the things he didn't, he says he didn't quite care about, but it felt important to write about for the sake of like the book. We do the exact opposite through this show on a weekly basis, where it is drenched in very dangerous, misremembered nostalgia. And I thought about that a lot. But moving that aside, instead of who I am now, who I was then, I would have, with a knife and fork, ate up a Kanye Hoobastank collaboration album in a heartbeat. I'm very certain of that. If they would have tag teamed with Linkin Park, I'm sure there would have been some radio hit that would have been playing on MTV somewhere. I don't know if it would have worked as well for a Good Charlotte Hoobastank collaboration. There might have been some conflicting, I don't know. Fun thought experiment, I guess. Yeah. Yeah.
So Collision Course, which was the album with Jay-Z and Linkin Park, was 1 week shy of a year away in terms of album releases. So they were, pretty close to each other. Maybe they were testing the waters with something. A Hoobastank Kanye. It's not too late. Change.org / Hooba Kanye. I don't know.
Honestly, yeah. Something like, I don't know, I'm coming home or good morning mixed with Crawling in the Dark or something. Somebody could make it happen. It's probably already on YouTube somewhere. The internet is such an amazing resource. Somebody probably already has a really amazing mashup between them just because this music video exists.
Yeah.
And the whole point of our show is that we're decades late to things that people have known about for a long time. So,
but
much
we
of
think
this
is totally awesome.
Right. Guys, look what we found on YouTube. And everyone who follows us is like, oh, we thought you knew, just chose not to mention it. But I guess we should have known that you had no idea. Anyway, Doug Robb wins the job, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the episode breaks genre a bit, but I might argue that the haircuts sported by the bandmates of Hoobastank beg to differ. They are emo cuts
right.
through and through, right? I don't think we're really drifting too far away from the main connecting tissue of the show, connective tissue.
Dude, I think what's so interesting is, as I've maybe in silence fought hard to undo my not so much lyrical nature, like I don't really focus on it too much. I've been trying to fix that and correct and read lyrics of whatever I'm listening to. It's crazy how like the same themes are in every genre, every song. Like, I don't know, man. We're all singing about the same shit. The human experience is so similar for just about everyone. It's all
it really is. I think there was some Reddit thread where it's like, do you guys ever ride in a car and picture a little running guy jumping over the fences and stuff, like going next to you?
Hell yeah. Yeah.
And there's a ton of people that were like, yes. And I was like, damn. Like, I'm surprised people still think we're different at all. Like everyone's the same.
I know.
Like I don't know how the internet has divided us so much. I guess I know. I know why. But I saw that and I was just like, I am just a dumb animal, kind of. Anyway, because the urge to comment and be like, yes, finally. But then there's like thousands of people that were like, yeah, I do, yeah, for sure. It's like, oh, this is not only super common, it's so common, it's boring to everyone who already has a dress that everyone always thinks this.
Alrighty, my Hooba brothers and Hooba sisters, I hope you're enjoying the episode, but please allow me just a quick moment to break in and thank our top-tier Patreon supporters, our Council of Elders. In this group, we have Johnny Leftwich, Jason Carey, Anonymous, Chris Lukey, Nathan Eshelman, Drew Edwards, Carrie Sanchez, Melanie, Devin Booz, Reed Gober, and Coral Lusty. Thank you all so much for supporting the show. It really, really means the world to us, and it gives us a lot of opportunity to do a lot of really fun stuff with the show. Pat and I have had a ton of fun lately thinking of all the cool stuff that we can do in the Patreon, and you've probably seen we've been putting a lot more posts in there, and we're going to be a lot more engaged and interactive in the Patreon. If you'd like to check it out for yourself, you can head to patreon.com/reminiscent, where every single week we post another 10 to 15 minutes. This week we've got a 20-minute post show, so just add 50% of all the content. It's all in the Patreon, and hopefully it's a ton of fun for all of you. We've also got some behind the scenes stuff. We're gonna have polls for you guys voting on what episodes we do next, all that kind of stuff, again at patreon.com/reminiscent. Thank you to everyone that supports the show, and thank you to everyone listening at the moment. We really appreciate you so much. Let's get back to the episode.
Okay, first twist. The pawn shop owner's a cop.
Ooh, yeah.
Which is heavy because we see him questioning Doug Robb. We see him looking at the band in a bar, and you start to think like, okay, that's kind of like, maybe they're not going to get away with this. Thoughts as the storyline starts to get revealed, because Robb is getting questioned a lot in the first third of the video.
Right. And my thought was like, well, he got arrested, right? I mean, that's all I really thought about it.
Right. Well, you see them getting chased down. There's like anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, I think. Let me just read through the notes in order, or else I'm going to get lost in the Hoobaverse and I'll never be able to return or do another episode of the show. Okay, so the band manages to evade police numerous times, right? There's a scene specifically where Robb and Estrin are hauling just absolute ass, like through an alley, and they're about to hop this fence, and the guitarist leans down, and you expect later to see Doug Robb's hand connect, and they pull each other over the fence, right? But we're just skipping through all these scenes. They're kind of weaving it together in a very fun way. I don't know. I love these music videos, like just thoroughly. Anyway, the one thing that did make me laugh a little bit was there's this folder in the cop's office when the pawn shop owner / cop is questioning Doug Robb, and it just says confidential material on it, this giant sticker. And it made me think of the Census Fail Buried Alive video where they do this fake telenovela where they have this giant film canister with the word evidence on it, and they just hand it to the police, and the police essentially hand them a blue ribbon for solving the murder or whatever. And that was obviously way more self-aware, but anyway, just like the music video, like you think sometimes movies can be like kind of rough and cheesy and corny, whatever, but you have to fit an entire heist into 3 minutes, maybe. You know what I mean? So I guess you go, okay, we got to cut some corners. Okay, there's some evidence in this folder. Mark it as such.
It's like in the King for a Day video when they're like rushing to write down the codes for the vault, but the word codes was written like 100 times in pen to make it super bold so that you could see it.
Yes. This is where
Just
we'll
amazing.
write the codes. The codes will go here. Yes. Shout out to little visual cues and music videos. They bring me joy. Okay. Real quick, thoughts on the bridge itself. We haven't talked about the song at all. I guess it sounds a little more like the rest of the songs in the album. To you, it was a surprise, I'm sure, because you had been mostly familiar with the reason, but there's a distinct Hoobastank sound, I think. I don't even know what the I'm saying. It just sounds like a Hoobastank song, right?
That's so funny. Again, I don't know, but it makes me think of, I remember being in the car with Stephanie and her mom, and it was around the time when I was discovering Blink and Green Day, and I said something about Green Day, and she was like, "Oh, I love Green Day. Their song Time of Your Life is really good." And it's like, she thought Green Day, all of it was like Good Riddance.
Yeah.
She's like, I love Green Day. It's like, listen to literally any other song. And I do that for
Here's a quick story.
Hooba.
I was about to be a freshman in college, and we got done with our tour group quickly, and the tour guide was just like, "Hey, who wants to listen to some music before we go to the next station? Because we have like 15 minutes." And people were raising their hand, and you got a taste for like, okay, this is people from throughout the Midwest or whatever who are coming to this college, and this is what they're listening to. It's a little, and I told them 4 Year Strong's cover of Alanis Morissette's Ironic.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
And it starts, and the first part is really soft, and it's the dueling vocalists, and it's a clean guitar being strummed. They're like, oh, I actually kind of like this. Like a college-age person was like, oh, this is a really interesting take on the song. And then it's like Ryan. She's like, whoa. And the negative reaction from everyone in the room, I was like, this is a tough lesson to learn, I guess. But everyone was like, oh, I really don't like this cover at all, actually. This was a horrible thing to suggest. And that was like as hip as I could get at the time. I had just spent a summer listening to that covers album and saying anything self-titled while riding my feelings out on a bicycle throughout the streets of Erie. And I was just like, this is pretty much the only song I've been listening to for like 5 months. I'm sure everyone else loves it too, right? Anyway, you're saying you were shocked to find out that Hoobastank was not just the band that sang The Reason, it sounds like.
Dude, that's amazing. I feel like that's every time I've ever played a song for anyone. They're like, oh, no, not that.
Band make other sound too. No. Well, I guess for context, like the tour guide was obviously like, it was a girl. She was very cute. She was older. This was me taking a swing to be like, yeah,
just in case
I listen to some music from time to time. And the abject horror on this poor girl's face when the chorus hit was burned into my subconscious for until now.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Yeah, one time I was playing Explains It All, their cover album at work at this like French cafe kind of thing, and it was like early. I was the only one there, and apparently the marketing director came in early and texted the owner, like my boss, about the music I was playing. And I get a call from the boss, and it was like, hey, Rachel says you're playing death metal at the cafe. And it was just 4 Years Strong.
Oh man.
So people perceive shit hella differently than we do.
True. And we perceive shit differently, as we've mentioned on the show. Okay.
But we're the gold
thoughts.
standard, so.
Thoughts on the bridge. My note here is before before all the 2010s choruses talking about how tonight we are young, there were, quote, I am an individual bridges of the 2000s to deal with. You mentioned it a few moments ago. Every song was the same for a while. Like,
Sure.
what's that scene in Party Down where the handsome guy who's a lead singer and he's an actor and he's all these things and all the other caterers are just pissed off. So you're just like generally a handsome guy who does handsome guy stuff. Anyway, they finally go to one of his shows and he does one of those. Anyway, it doesn't go well, I guess, and chaos ensues. I don't even remember the scene well enough to recall it, but it was around enough to be all over pop culture. And then the 2010s came and everyone sang about being young on this evening. And there you go.
No, I love Party Down, but I don't remember the scene you're referring to. Just like I don't really remember this bridge because I thought it was, I don't know, unremarkable, but the harmonies going right into the bridge are sick. That's all I have to say about it.
Fair enough. Moving on. I mentioned this earlier, but this is where in the part in the video where the car just beats the car around a corner and gets into an alley while the other car flies right by and doesn't even notice. And what more do you want out of life, really, would be my main question. Like, just watching that scene in a movie over and over again is good enough for me, I think. I realized watching this.
I have all of these, they're not even like nightmares. They're like these thriller dreams where I come to and I'm in somebody's house while everyone is still there. And I like, my goal in the dream is to like sneak in and out of every room in the house without getting noticed and then leaving. And I like in the dream, I'm always like, what am I doing? But it's always like I'm turning the corner right as they're coming in the room. And it's like this weird cat and mouse thing that like has that vibe of like turning the corner, get the lights off as they drive right by you.
Interesting.
Dude, those dreams. I don't like it, but I feel like I'm hooked to them. Like I can't wait to have another one, but I hate it at the same time.
I feel like I have those and I do always wake up tired and I don't think I like them.
Yeah.
But I have similar dreams where like I'm constantly on the move away from something. And it's hard to think of a specific example, but yeah, they're exhausting. You wake up, you're like, well, that was bullshit. I was hoping for rest, but
I'm always like in someone else's house, which is, I don't know, man. It's so thrilling.
No home field advantage.
Right.
One note that I forgot to mention about the bridge, a little bit of Foreign to Par's, the worst part of this tragedy is I wrote it myself with the, it is me, the individual, unlike you and others, for I am unique. And anyway, it was popular enough for us to mimic it, so it must have been everywhere. Right. Because I think we say this on the show all the time, but we just wrote songs that were as similar as possible to the stuff we were just listening to at the time. So it must have been a popular motif. It is I, someone who is so unique, I cannot be replicated. Anyway. Okay, main plot twist. Let's wrap this puppy up. Or get this puppy moving. Either way, the puppy's not staying in place in this scenario. Doug Robb is a cop. Dun, dun, dun. With full knowledge that the band was planning the heist all along, and that his interrogation was actually him being assigned to join the band, and that he knew when the police were going to find their hideout. So he tried out for the band, knowing he was going to join, knowing that they were going to do the job, knowing that the cop, his partner potentially, his comrade, his coworker, was going to be running the jewel shop or the secondhand store that they were about to rob. And the icing on the cake is the scene we saw earlier where he and the guitarist are running through that alley, and the guitarist puts his hand down because it's only him and Rob left that the cops are chasing down. Rob reaches up with none other than a handcuff and takes his buddy, so-called buddy, downtown. And that's how the Hoobaverse chooses to end this version of things. I'm sure there's obviously limitless replications of this exact story over and over with, octopuses as Hoobastank and things like that. The Hoobaverse is an extensive and delightful place full of wonder. But in this instance, it's humans and it's just Doug Robb and it's the band Hoobastank. And, anyway, he's a cop and they were planning to get those thieves all along. I'm curious if their band in this fictional tale got any buzz. I guess they were robbing rubies to make some money. Those early years can be tough. I don't think the VFWs are shelling out a ton from what they're collecting at the door. So maybe they were just doing it to fuel their dream. I don't know. Thoughts on Hoobastank as a band needing to snag rubies on the side?
Well, I've got a lot of things that I want to say to wrap up this episode because, again, there's so many loose ties. But yeah, okay, so I think the band is a front for a crime organization. Like, do they actually play music? It would be fun to think of.
They held tryouts. The tryouts seem pretty earnest.
Right, but is it like wink, wink tryouts? Right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, like slang, like, hey, we need a lead singer. Or
Right.
we need a guy to stare at the girl on the ground while we run into the shop and grab the jewel or something.
Well, he hit her too. Okay, that's the other thing. Okay, actually, let's take it back. When you saw the twist, did you immediately understand what the was happening? Because I did not.
No, I admitted up front, I did not know this was supposed, like, I joked like, oh, a prequel and a sequel, oh, Hoobastank, oh, Hot Rod. But I had to watch it like 3 times. I was like, no, no, wait, that's the guy from the shop. It took me several viewings. I was,
right.
No, like, let's not be like, I don't want, whatever, like, no confusion. I fucking love this music video. I watched it a ton. And I was discovering new things every time. It's just a delightful viewing experience to watch them back to back. Like, it was pretty fun to do. And it's just a fun thing. It makes for fun episodes. We did December for the Christmas episode by Neck Deep this year. And they do a ton of versions, but basically the music videos are aligned. And we talk about the Fall Out Boy extended cinematic universe a lot. And I don't know, it's just fun. It's fun. More bands should do it, but not force it, but like, it's fun. Adds to the lore of the band. I don't know.
I mean, I think it was done really well because I think, like, especially in current times, like, music videos don't have a lot of replayability. But when you're telling this kind of like non-linear story through the course of multiple videos, I mean, I watched it like 3 times to really get what was happening. Because the first time I thought that they arrested Rob, but then they turned him to snitch on the other people, is what I thought. But then it was like,
because they show him getting interrogated so much.
Right.
And then they show him at the bar, and he notices the guy from the cop who also was at the store. And you're like, okay, is this before or after the job? And he's looking at him, and then you're just kind of like, okay, is he getting coerced and pressured to turn on them?
Right.
But you know what I mean? There's a lot of like weird glances and stuff. I don't think we didn't go shot for shot. You should watch it. You really should. Also, quick note, special thanks to our sponsor for the show, MasterCard. Really great of them to put some money behind the show. Extremely unrelated to the content. And just got to keep the lights on, guys. That's all this is. So thanks, MasterCard.
Thanks, MasterCard.
Thanks, credit.
Your score gets dinged when you put it on there, and it gets dinged when you pay it off. What kind of bullshit is this?
Yeah.
F you, MasterCard. Anyways, all right. So I don't know how the justice system works, but don't you think that if he was an undercover cop, he could have arrested the band before they like ran over a girl and actually did the robbery and had a high-speed chase through the city?
Okay, look, so I don't know exactly how the justice system works. So that's a good question, right? Because I think we're led to believe, and I'd have to watch it again, but they were waiting for them to go for this ruby in particular for some reason. So maybe the footage we're seeing is to small jobs that they're earning Rob's trust, and they give a little heat so they can prove to themselves, they put a little heat on it so that Rob can work his way in and prove to them that he's siding with them on these smaller jobs, but really they want them to catch them because they know they're going for the ruby or something, and maybe they're just helping Rob go deeper undercover to gain more trust or something. I don't know. It's shockingly complex. It's shocking.
I know.
It's just such a
What I really want to happen is that we find out that the cop who was the jewelry store owner is actually in on it, and he's a dirty cop, and somehow he got the ruby to the girl who got hit to ride away on the motorcycle.
Double cross.
Yes.
I love it. Double cross that too. Do a fourth. You could Do it forever. I would watch it. Do it forever. It wouldn't matter. I'd watch it.
Oh my God.
Yes, we are all alike. We are, yes, just animals. And this particular animal loves heist music videos. What can I say? They're great. They're fun. Keep double crossing everyone until there's no more crossing left to do, which is impossible, which is the point, which is what makes it fun, I guess. I don't know. Anyway.
Oh God, Hoobastank.
Made possible by MasterCard. Shout out to MasterCard.
We've got a whole other music video.
Shout out to MasterCard, who solicited fan fiction so that this music video could exist.
Oh my God.
Amazing.
Yeah, we have to do the other one next week.
Easily the best credit card fan fiction music video I've ever seen, and it's not close. All right, that's it. The episode's over.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Let's
Got to do songs of the week, but man.
Oh, Jesus. What
you
you got
did it again,
week?
Hoobastank. You did it again. You got me good.
Hooba, don't did it again.
Dang it, Hooba. Dang it, Hooba.
Hooba too good.
Hooba do good. Hooba make other noise too.
Oh my God, we got to make that shirt now. Oh God. Oh, Hooba too good. All right, what do you got this week?
Kanye and the Madden brother left the audition and had to have had a period of time where they wondered whether or not they were in the band. And they might have gone to a diner. Maybe they got the meal together because they went in after each other and they kind of make friends in the lobby or something. There's just so much of this world I want to see, like a gritty reboot of the side characters who didn't make the band or something. I don't know. I'd watch it all, man. Okay. I'll bring it down. Sorry. I'm sorry. Okay. My song of the week. Man, Hoobastank. Okay. Stay the Same by Gold Steps, featuring somebody, but it's ellipses, featuring Thief Club.
Sure.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Wait, is that from the marketing email that we got?
No.
Really?
I actually just got it. It was some algorithm put it in front of me. But yeah, Stay the Same by Gold Steps featuring Thief Club. It's really fun. It's a really fun song. And the music video actually made me think of you because they're like skateboarding and stuff, and they're getting little shots of people in a skate park on like big wheels and stuff. But yeah, the song rips. It's super fun.
Dude,
I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, we got an email from a PR company asking if we wanted to have Gold Steps on the show.
Bring them on. Let's talk about skate parks and pop punk.
And
Why
Hoobastank.
not? Sure. Listen to the song. I bet you like
about
it.
Hoobastank?
Or Michelle Branch. Honestly, literally, the show is, we're going right off the rails in the name of Michelle Branch. We'll burn it all down in a heartbeat. And like gleefully, honestly. Our retirement project will just be talking about the Spirit Room. And more or less, it'll be exactly that. Okay, what's yours?
All right, so I have been so deep into this Japanese record label that has legitimately just like the best music I've ever heard in my entire fucking life. A lot of the bands, the name is in Japanese, the song names are in Japanese, and I don't quite know how to speak or read it yet, but there's a band that translates to Near Friends, and their song Junk Overflow is like just one of the greatest things I've ever heard. It's not on Apple Music or Spotify, so I don't think it can make the playlist at the end of the month, but there is a link to the music video on YouTube. And just literally like, I don't know, dude, I'm just so fucking enamored with this record label. They are putting out some of the best shit I've ever heard. There's a YouTube channel called RadTube that has all of their music videos on there, like all of the record label's videos. But yeah, Nia Frenzua, with their song, oh God, Garaktoa Baforoa. I don't know, but Junk Overflow by Near Friends is amazing.
You've been on a kick lately.
Yeah, dude.
You want to talk about in the post show? It's like going to consume your life enough to like want to reach out to the labels and stuff. I kind of want to talk about that in the post show.
I also have a trying out as a singer for a band story. So we've got
I'd love to hear both of those things.
Awesome.
Got a meaty post show.
All right. Well, I'll see you all there. Love you, dude. And
Love you too, man.
Either Hoobastank or Michelle Branch next week.
We're doing a Michelle Branch episode. It's happening. You guys, I think like people joke about wanting things here and there, but by popular demand, we will definitely do a Michelle Branch episode. And we're not just going to talk about the yellow card cover the whole time. We're doing it. And I think everyone feels pretty good about it. So yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you had a good week, everybody.
Yep. Bye. All right, guys, I'm going to petition to do another Hoobastank episode next week, but either way, we've got some fun stuff coming up. Thank you all so much for listening. This was such a fun episode. It's honestly super, super thrilling to break genre and do something just for the absolute hell of it. Please hit us up on Twitter @_reminiscentfm. Let us know what you thought of the episode. Let us know what you think of Hoobastank. And please hit up our change.org link in the show notes to sign the petition to expand the Hoobaverse. Thank you all so much. We love you. We'll talk to you next week. Bye, everyone.